poor. So you have a specific amount that you save. And you do not, you've seen Indians come here and someone is selling pancakes and then within 2 years they're owning a supermarket. It's not witchcraft. You know? Because they consistently put money aside. With us, we say, let me first spend, then I'll save what is left. What will be left? Definitely you'll eat all of it. And especially being women, it will be well. It will be gone, because you've spent on jewelry, lipstick, the newest eyeshadow, the newest shoe. Despite you having 5 pairs already, the newest jean, because this one here at the bottom here, it is, you know, ripped. You know, I'm not saying don't look fashionable, I'm just saying save, and then after, enjoy the rest of the money. So consistently have an amount that you save. Manage your debt. Debt is good if it helps you grow. I'm a business owner. For the last 18 years, I ran a franchise with MTN. I have had debt, but the debt that I have helps me grow my business. I don't get debt to buy a car. I don't get debt to go on holiday. I get debt to build my business, and I project how I'm then going to use it and pay it back, and also be faithful in paying back. I know PSFU is here, we're talking about the grow money, but if you do not pay it back, then you kill the next generation of women because they have no funds to give them. So let us also be diligent as we do this. Avoid impulsive spending, but most important, and last, is financial literacy. Financial literacy is important. As women, we shy away from finances. We don't talk about our finances, little as they are. We have even demeaned it to call it a percentage because what does that mean? It comes written on Woman Bank of Uganda /woman. But you know, the words are powerful. If you demean your money to that level, that is what it will be to you. My husband, when we met, sorry, I'll tell this story, is he did something very interesting. We were in the restaurant, and I saw him pay, and after paying, he organized the money in his wallet. Like 10,000, 5, like in order, and straightened them out. I kept looking at him in confusion. So I told him, why are you arranging your money? He's like, if you don't respect money, it won't respect you. This money has to stay here. So I think that's a mindset thing. So stop diminishing money. Stop saying, school fees. Because you know it is money. Learn how to grow it, learn how to make it, learn how to invest it. And I wish you good luck, because I know you're the next billionaires of tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jackie. I think I'll just interject with something that I've struggled with as a filmmaker, or because I've done a lot of, I think I've done a lot of more documentary filmmaking than any other. And you find that you get this amount that is, you know how we make our films, the guys that are in the business, and you get this amount, and the first thing you're thinking, you know, I am going to do, you know, but the napu has been too much. By the time you finish, the napu, you have nothing to invest. I've worked so hard, let me first show you, you get. You first got Serena and say, you will respect me. So at the end, so I realized that I was constantly in a space where I am broke, you know? And you have these films, and me, I'm very ambitious. I never stop. Because there is a friend of mine here who told me that as an artist, he stopped producing for a while, and when he came back on stage, people had forgotten him. You get? So I was like, no. And meanwhile, for me, I do it as a business. That's why I'm like over the top, like a shark in the business, you know, the business sector. So I realized I had to create systems that had to have sustainability to them, because the way we earn, Jackie, is that we don't really earn per month. So, most of us in the industry who have, you know, chosen to. And so I said, I'm going to. I started to give myself a salary, because before, you know, the money is just there for you to. Then I started, because I would get deals, and then they're telling me, you're going to first put the money. You know, it's like a government, you know, docu that you have to do, and they're like, you've got to have the money. You get? And so I started to have money on my business account and make sure this is, and then I started to sustain myself. But the other thing, as I come to Doris, the other thing that I had to do was, okay, let's first go to Doris. I'll keep giving you my own things, so that you learn more from me as well. Anyway, Doris, this one is mine. I need it. Risks. Risk appetites, risks. Because I'm such a risk taker and I've hit walls. I recently sold my car to do something. That's a story for later, the other hour. What can you risk and what can't you in a business?
Thank you, Barbara. And it's a very, not very easy question to answer, but I'll start by saying that the moment you decide you're getting into business, you're already taking a risk. Because the risk is, most times, like all of us who are in business, you have some savings, you have some money, you have somewhere, or you're even going to take a loan. And then you have this idea in your head, which you think is going to start making you money. So here you are with either your life savings or borrowed money, and then you're putting it into something. So by the time we are here, all of us are risk takers to some extent. Because the alternative would have been, let me get this money, take it to Bank of Uganda, and sit at home, and every 6 months I'll get a coupon, and there's less risk there. But the money will come. But by the time, but it's very passive. And we're here, we still have energy, you have things to do. You can't wake up, you can't be like you're 90, just waiting for a return on a coupon to just have a meal and, and live day to day. That's where we shall end up eventually. But at this point, you're going to take a risk. And of course, the risks, like Barbara said, which risks are you going to take? And which risks are you not going to take? The moment you have an idea and you sit down, you're going to plan. Like even Jackie has mentioned a bit about it, as if you're going to invest in a business, then you've planned on how that money is going to work, how it's going to come out. If you've decided to sell your car and you've got 20 million, where are you putting the 20 million and how are you projecting how this 20 million is going to come out? So most times, whatever risk we are going to take, it's going to be calculated and planned for. Sometimes it may actually not work out, because as you take a risk, you're also knowing that, yes, I may put in this money, do this, but how am I going to get out the money? So what I've even seen, like in our industry, in terms of someone gets 100 million and has very bright idea about the film, and we are all very passionate. I mean, like when you talk to someone, you even feel the passion within you, and it's just getting to you how this thing, they are seeing it. Barbara has written this script, she's really feeling it. And she gets 100 million and she puts it and does the film. But have you worked out how this 100 million is going to come out of this film? Next you have it, it's here, it's in your computer, it's in your whatever you have. But in terms of, that's where it gets scary in terms of taking risks, but they have to be planned for risks. As a business person, each and every day you're taking risks. But this is very important on our side in terms of the creative industry to see that where I'm putting the money, how is it, even sometimes it may not come out, you may actually fail, we shall see how sometimes it doesn't. But it may also come out, but have we planned for that other part of how this money is going to make for you more money? So how are we going to run our industry as a business? You see, yes. If someone is going to take a risk and plant cassava, they've seen that if I plant this much in this acre, I'm planning to get out this much, I'll sell this much, where am I taking it to? Maybe the other school will be open that month, they should be able to take my cassava. So that's the same thing that we need to apply in our industry. That if I'm doing this movie, and I do it. So what after I'm done with it and I've put in my life savings, I've sold my car, I've sold even the land to do the movie. But it's a risk. But have we looked ahead on what am I going to do next to make sure this product of mine is also going to make for me some money to pay back or to even get a better car? Not the other one which I had before. So it's very important. But the risks, there's certain things to grow, to innovate yourself, to rebrand yourself. You're going to take risks and put in money. And those are risks you're going to take. You'll take a risk knowing that I need to get a professional to help me with this. And you put in more money. But you're looking at, if I get a professional to do this and I pay them money, it will be a better product, you know. You're going to take risks and register the things we are talking about. People say like, if I register, URA will be looking out for me and what, but it will, and it helps you to also be more accountable to whatever you're doing. Because if you're not taking that risk to do the right things, it will come back to you. How far can you grow when you're just there, you know? Yeah, so it's very important to know that even just saying that you've got into business, you put down your hand, it's already, we are all already risk takers. So we shall continue there, but plan for these risks. And then also, maybe, yeah, you know, you have to be a bit more calculative. You're not going, for example, to risk and you sleep outside, you get your children and your husband out of the home because you decided you have this dream you want to do, and hopefully you've not even contacted to see what Netflix requires, but you've decided, I'm going to do a movie which I'm going to sell to Netflix. You've not even gone ahead to see, okay, how does it get
Why
to
are you
Netflix?
talking about me?
But then, you sell everything, you may put your family at risk of being homeless, and you've not even known. Then after you've done the movie, they tell you, this one, no, these things have to be done in South Africa, these are our standards, we need to first get this, and you're like, okay, and now you're homeless, and you know, so those are the things you might not risk into, but there are risks as a business person. Every day I'm taking risks. Every single day you're taking risks and knowing that this may come out, this may not come out. But can we have more calculated risks of knowing that I'll not sleep outside, you know, being rendered homeless because I've given out my home to a money lender for something I'm not yet sure how the money will come out. But for example, you're saying maybe a ministry has given you a deal to do some work for them. And you know the
film is there, but then you realize, oh, it didn't work out. And my husband started to say, Barbara, you'll not keep the papers for land. You'll get loans that... so this is something that I learned. I take a film, a movie, let's say a movie, because I've done more of the features, I take it as a business, how do I explain it? It's a business that has to get for me something. And so I have invested in thinking and in planning. I would just get out of home to just plan the financial bit of how this film is going to get for me money. Like I make projections according to what I have, you know, and they are usually like that. Then I have a plan of, okay, fine, I have this money, I'm going to put it in these films. Then how am I going to get it? What is my marketing plan for my premiere? And I make sure my premieres are full house so that I can get something out of it. So I put in a lot in marketing, like not money per se, but a lot of tactics. And I will work so hard. The people that know me, they know me for working hard. When I get something, I work hard and finish it. So you get your film, like Doris is saying, don't just do something without knowing how the end is going to be. Actually, usually people tell us, look at the end, and then come back to the beginning, and then you start work towards the end. So that is something that we need to think about as filmmakers. So that is why we're saying empowering our creativity through financial literacy, that we are creative, but we need to empower creativity through financial literacy. I'll just end with a small story as I come to KJ. There's one of my students, if you're here, please forgive me. He did tell me that the wife was like, these things are, please, you know, because you have the passion, you're putting in the time, you're putting in that, and then nothing is coming out of it. For me, I left those things. Because I have kids, I have children, I have a family to take care of. So if I am in this, I take it as a business. It's not just laissez-faire. And that is why, that was the vision of why, you know, I decided that let's call people and we have a summit for women in film, a business summit. Okay, so, KJ. This is very sensitive, but we need to talk about it. Company businesses and spousal involvement. And I know you guys can also, you know, get into the conversation about this. How to navigate spousal business relationships. Whichever angle you take, you get it from there.
It's really technical to me, especially since I don't have a spouse right now. But I'm going to take you through from a professional point of view.
Yes.
Yeah. So a company, like I told you earlier, it is a separate entity. So if I know some of you choose to work with your spouses, which is good. It is good, but you have to understand that it is completely separate from your personal lives. There has to be that line. Yes, so I know it can be a bit technical, like drawing the line. Sometimes you cross over, and with some films you can relate.
Yeah, we'll answer that one as well.
Okay. Yeah, but sometimes it can be successful. It can be successful, especially if you embrace the differences and if you navigate around all those, it can be successful. There are some ways how it can be successful, and the first one is clearly defining roles. Like the two spouses, okay, the couple, yes, you're working together, but you have to be very specific on what exactly you're taking on. Yeah, as the husband, what are you good at? If you're filmmakers and the husband is a cinematographer, maybe an editor, and the wife is a director and maybe a screenwriter, you do your jobs, because if you collide within those roles, there will be a problem with decision making, first of all. So you have to be very, very specific. You do your job. If it's editing, the wife should not interfere. Okay, they can throw in advice here and there, but don't come and tell me how I'm going to arrange the timeline. Okay, so it has to be very, very specific. Then it is also important to know where your strength lies, and you should focus on that. Yeah, if you're a film director and that's your strength and you're very bad at writing, please focus on directing and maybe try to improve, to learn the art of writing up to when you can do it well. So if your spouse is good at writing, let them do that, and maybe you be more of a story contributor, like giving advice here and there on the story. But the screenplay, please let them do it. So let's be specific. I know some of you might not be filmmakers. I'm a filmmaker, that's why I'm giving you examples from film. But as a lawyer still, I know it is important to let your spouse focus on what they're good at. If they're into maybe criminal law and you are into corporate law, okay, civil law, yeah. If they have a divorce case and what, please don't interfere. You just focus on what you're good at and they focus on what you're good at. With that line, it will work out. Then communication and partnership agreements. There should be effective communication. I understand it can be personal sometimes and feel like, yeah, this is my man, this is my wife. But trust me, when it comes to business, you have to first put aside the personal relationship and you have a straight business talk as spouses. So discussing business matters is very important. Don't ignore it, don't avoid it. No matter how difficult it is, you put it at the table and you talk about it. In that case, it will work out. Then maintaining professional boundaries. That's more like setting the line, setting clear boundaries, what you're taking on and what this one is taking on. And with the boundaries, still I mean family. If it's family related issues, let it be at home. Discuss that at home. And if it's work and business related, let it be just that. So the boundary is very important. If you have a problem, don't bring it at work. Otherwise, it will sabotage the entire day, maybe, and you have something good going on and important for business, and then you bring some problem from home, and you end up messing up all the workers and the entire business. So boundaries are important. Family, business shouldn't really mix. Then professional advice is important. You should seek out professional advice from maybe in case of any problem with business, or if at all the two are mixing you up and you are kind of having a problem distinguishing the two. You should seek out professional advice from maybe legal advisors or people that have experience in that kind of business. Like if I'm married, which I'm soon going to be, I choose to work with my partner and we have a problem, maybe I don't know how to handle this and that, I'm so stressed, work and family, and there's a lot of pressure. I can reach out to my fellow woman, Erin. They're like, how are you doing this? How have you managed for years? Okay. So she can advise me from a professional point of view, from an experienced man's point of view. Yeah? So it's very important to consult. There is no problem consulting because we all need advice at one point. Then, before I leave that, I think with the agreements, we'll talk about ways of solving disputes or conflicts. If at all there is a problem, how are you handling as spouses? Problems within business. You have to clearly stipulate the means of dispute resolution or conflicts, and that has to be clearly stated in the agreement. That if we have this problem, what are we going for? Are we suing each other just like that, or we are going in for mediation or negotiation? You can put a third party in there to maybe come in and mediate in case of any problem. Yeah, so that some problems are easy to solve, some conflicts are easy to solve without going to court or what. It's just a mediation, negotiation, conciliation, those few things. Yeah, so it should be clearly stated in the agreement. It's very, very important.
All right. I think I'll ask the other two ladies if they can jump in on this, but before they do, I think I'll give you practical tips, especially if you haven't yet registered your company. It's my personal opinion, and you are the person that is, you are the filmmaker, and probably your spouse isn't, there are aspects of your business that they're not going to understand, because usually limited company, they're like, okay, find another partner, another partner to be, for it to be a limited company. And so you say, closest person, my husband, yeah, or my wife, So sometimes we have, what are they? They're not ghost partners. Are they ghost partners? Okay, they're not like active partners in that business, And so it's just out of experience. And so sometimes you're signing mandates. I would rather, if the person is not too involved, I would rather you're signing mandate to leave it to probably by yourself. So that you can, I don't know, they'll advise. Because this is it. Sometimes there is money that is for the business, and the film business is so expensive, So it might seem like I'm playing devil's advocate, but I think there's some magazine, it will tell us, because there is that session, you tell us what you think. So sometimes you think before you give signing mandates, because anyway, let's go on. So,
thank you, Barbara. I like that question because I'm a businesswoman. I run a family business. My business partner is my husband. Yes. And our first company and business, it was first registered in 2008. And we are still here growing and doing business in different aspects. So, once you decide you've registered a business, it is a business. You decide, both of you together buy into this business. So you find that even if this person does not understand, let's say you're saying, I've told you I'm a medical doctor, I'm now into the creative industry and doing business. I can assure you when my husband first came out with the idea, can we invest in this? I was thinking, oh no, I have too much on my plate already. But then you find that, yes, like Victoria earlier alluded to, someone keeps saying, you know, this is something we can do. And the person is insistent, I'm not going to go without you, because they also know your strength and what you bring on board in terms of you understanding this. So what has that led me to do? To read, to learn and understand what is in this business. I am not a writer, I'm not an actress, I am not, but I have learned to learn what goes on in this business and what it takes. So, whichever business partner you're bringing on board, you're going to work with, it's very important that they buy into your vision and are willing to understand what it takes. And that makes it a lot easier than when you're dealing in day-to-day things. But then we have the backup, which you've talked about, where these things are, when you're running a business, it's no longer between you and your partner only. It's, if I should say, it's like a public entity, in a sense that you're accountable to beyond just the two of you as partners. You have the people you're employing, you have maybe the premises you're using, you have, there's so much at stake that cannot just be held between you and the two of you having not agreed on one point or two, that the business then ends. So that's where you'll have systems that are set in, such that you'll find that if I have an accountant, we have a system on the way money is going to be paid out, where it's banked. So it's not that my husband will walk in and tell the accountant, give me money. For what? On which budget line? And what are we looking at this? You get it? So once you have the system set in, this business is not just the two of you. The business is accountable to many other people who you're dealing with. If you're going to make a movie, you have lined up a whole cast. All these people are your responsibility. So it's not about you saying that I'll not sign because it's costing so much, but it's also taking on responsibility that when you're running a business, it's no longer just about you and about the differences you make. So that's the professional bit of it. You bring in professionals to work with you, to guide you, to set in systems, to see how the finances are being managed, how compliance is being done to the regulations of the country that are available, the legal entities. So in future, even if things go wrong, you find that this business can continue regardless of the differences between two people. You know, I've visited businesses where, like, an ex-wife is still in the business, but because they have systems, the person owns still 50% of that business, let's say. And the best thing is that our focus on making this business work is very separate from us being married, you know, from us being spouses. This is our business. So even when I'm no longer your wife, can we know that it's the business, it's the partnership we have to make this and our accountability to grow and get bigger, and you'll find that you'll still keep in those lines. There are systems beyond just the two of you. Yeah. So that helps a lot in terms of, and when you're starting small, it starts, but you have to start with these systems in place to know that this business is not just about me and you. And that's also the other thing I see, like in the creative industry. You're going to grow this business, that it's no longer you who has to write all the scripts. Because when you're going to do a business and you say, oh, you know, I'm the actress or I'm the director of the movie, it's different to be the director of the business. Those two will be separated. That's why in this business, if we're going to do a movie and you're director, then us as a business, we shall pay you as the director of that movie. That does not come in the sense that, so you're going to, these roles will just be separated, where you are the technical person, but you're also the business owner. So these two are very different, and you not mix them. So if you are in the business, you have Tasso's film, it's for Barbara and the husband, but Barbara is also the director, and Barbara is there every day at the movie. Then Barbara is on the payroll and is going to be paid as the managing director of the company. If you go in the movie and you're going to take on a role and act, you have a rate you're paying the actors. Then pay yourself on that as the actress in that movie, on the budget that was put in the movie. So that makes it a lot easier than even for accountability. And that's where it brings challenges. If the other spouse is actually a silent partner, but are they getting accountability? Are you getting audited and they're seeing what things are happening in this business, where things are going? So it's the transparency, the accountability, the keeping the records and seeing this where it's coming, so that they support you and you support each other. I'm not sure about saying that you leave the signatory mandates to yourself alone. Reason being, remember, what if
Something happens.
no, not COVID came, I'm in ICU. There's nobody to sign because I'm the only signatory. You get what I mean? So there are all those challenges. And actually now you even need them to sign so that they can bring some money and pay.
Yes.
And you're not able to sign. So they definitely, when there are systems in place, then you'll share the responsibility and it makes the things work. You're not there, you're held somewhere. You fly out of the country and you find that there's a storm, you can't get in, you have to sign and the work goes on in the business. Yes, you're delayed. The checks you signed have run out.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so it's very important. Once you have systems and the legal things are there, and the business is not just, the business is a bigger thing than the two of you.
Yes. Thank you, Doris. I do buy into that idea. But I think my line of thought was because you're talking about intentional partnerships, that we are going to run this business together. But love can make you do funny things. When you just want to do a company with your person, you let us know. And you have not talked about anything on, you've not like been straight up like Kevin was saying about how you're going to run this company. You're just saying, because they need an extra person for me to be a limited company, the USB official will also jump in on that later on. And you're like, just be on this paper. I think there could be problems going on, but I think the thing I've got from you is that the two people, if their spouses have decided to do business, they've got to really be, it has got to be a two-people thing, and an intentionality of saying, we're going to do this together, not you just saying, I'm starting my company, but since you're my wife, those are, you know, you be the other party, you be the other party. So I think for me that is what I have got from your discussion. And
if you are not supporting on that, whichever other partner you get should also not be just. Everyone will have to be supportive of that.
Contribute to.
Supportive, yeah.
I think I also want to add on to that, and that's a big challenge that we have as women, because I work with a lot of women groups. We do a lot of despair kind of business. Come. You know, we are crusaders, so we call everybody a Ebawadde. But the biggest challenge is we do not document, we do not collate. So a business must be equal. Even this other person that you say just come, it should be well stipulated that they're going to be silent partners, you're going to be the active managing director, and these are your KPIs as the active managing director, your key performance indicators. And you're going to have to also be accountable to them, because the fact that they're not there doesn't mean that you don't account to them and you do what you want. So I think for me, what I would want to say is, your spouse, your partner, you've decided and agreed to do life together. Till death, you are spouse. At times you part before death, but the big picture is, why do I say that? You know, we are very, I'm not a believer in doing things wish-wash. You know, in things like, oh, you're my husband, but we can't work together. Oh, you're my husband, but we can't invest together. But we can do life together. We can have children together. We live together. We share a bed, but we can't do business. Then, are we really together? I don't know. So with me, I would say, look at the bigger picture. Why are you starting this business? For us, we started a business. I worked with my husband for the last 19 years. And we started the business because we wanted a legacy for our family. We come from backgrounds where our parents did own businesses. They only took us to school, so they did not have anything to pass on to us. So with us, we decided we need to do something where we pass on something to our children. So how are you going to pass on something to your children when you've not built it together? So, but what has also helped us is we've looked at each other's strength and we've leveraged on that. I know he's stronger in certain decisions. When it comes to that, I tone down. When it comes to areas that I'm strong, he listens to me. But obviously that is not a magic one. It takes 19 years to build. So every day you work on it like you're working on your marriage. It's also a partnership that you have to work on. But something that has also helped me, because I'm the managing director, most of the businesses that we work together, my husband is not actively engaged. He has his areas, but he's not engaged in the day-to-day, the mundane tasks. So what I have positioned myself is every time I'm going to talk to him, I position myself to say he is the investor. So how do you present to investors? If PSFU asked you to pitch to them today, you prepare. You have PowerPoint slides. You show the projections. How are we going to make money? And I found that that has made it so easy for me, because I don't present to him as my husband. I present to him as someone I want to make a financial decision for our company. So I prepare my PowerPoint. I research, like Doris says, I read, I understand the industry, I educate myself, then I come to him and I'm like, this thing will work. How will it work? 1, 2, 3, 4. He'll ask questions, and if he's not okay with it, I will go back. There's a project I prepared, and I came back every month for 1 year. I could have given up, but it was a big project, and I knew that it was going to make us money. So I was patient. So every time he asked me a question, so how does this work? I would go back, and the next meeting, I come with the answer. Finally, he signed on to it, and we're very effective.
Great. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. I think Afri, I don't know if Afri is here, and we'll get Afri. So, before I come back to Jackie for your last question of the day, I'll go to the USB official that has come, and I think we'll go back to the question that we asked KJ at some point about the benefits of registration. How do we go about the whole company registration? Because for me, I think it's a highlight for this summit that we go very legal with our businesses, so that we